ચેનલ ઓફ વડોદરા.
ગુજરાત વાસ્ક્યુલર સોસાયટી દ્વારા તારીખ 1 અને 2 માર્ચના રોજ રાષ્ટ્રીય અને આંતરરાષ્ટ્રીય કોન્ફરન્સનું આયોજન કરવામાં આવ્યું હતું. ગુજરાત વાસ્ક્યુલર સોસાયટી દ્વારા વાસ્ક્યુલર અને એન્ડોવાસ્ક્યુલર સર્જરીનું એક આંતરરાષ્ટ્રીય કક્ષાની કોન્ફરન્સ ટેપકોન 2024નું આયોજન ગાંધીનગર ખાતે કરવામાં આવ્યું હતું. આ કોન્ફરન્સમાં ટેપકોન 2024માં ભારતભરમાંથી 200થી વધુ વાસ્ક્યુલર સર્જને ભાગ લીધો હતો. આ કોન્ફરન્સમાં તમામ પ્રકારના વાસ્ક્યુલર રોગોના નિવારણ, નિદાન અને સારવારની વિવિધ પદ્ધતિઓ અને ટેકનિક વિશે ચર્ચાઓ કરવામાં આવી હતી. રક્તવાહિનીના રોગો વિશે સમાજમાં તેમજ તબીબી ક્ષેત્રે પણ કંઈક અંશે આની જાગૃતિ નથી. સામાન્ય રીતે વાસ્ક્યુલર રોગો જેવા કે વેરિકોઝ વેઇન, પગમાં ગેંગ્રીન, કોરોડિડ રોગ જેને કારણે લકવો થાય છે, ડાયાબિટીક દર્દીમાં પગની સમસ્યાઓ, એઓર્ટિક એન્યુરિઝમ વગેરે આપણા સમાજમાં ખૂબ જ જોવામાં આવે છે, પરંતુ આ રોગો વિશે બહુ જ ઓછી જાગૃતિ અને માહિતી હોય છે. આ કોન્ફરન્સનો હેતુ આવા રોગોને રોકવા, યોગ્ય રીતે સારવાર કરવી અને વાસ્ક્યુલર સાયન્સની વિવિધ પદ્ધતિઓ વિશે ચર્ચા કરવામાં આવી હતી. આ કોન્ફરન્સનું આયોજન ગુજરાત વાસ્ક્યુલર સોસાયટી દ્વારા ડોક્ટર વિજય ઠાકોર, મનીષ રાવલ, સુમિત કાપડિયા અને કુશાન નાણાવટી તેમજ તેમની ટીમના નેતૃત્વ હેઠળ કરવામાં આવ્યું હતું.
Many youngsters, the society is moving forward. It's the hands of the young people, and I am sure the youngsters, more and more you do, you will come across the mistakes you have made. This is a platform where you learn from the mistakes of others. You make Dr. Paresh Pai, Dr. Robbie George, Dr. Tapis. મલાઈ ભાઈ છે? ક્યાં છે? બરોબર છે. Can we play that, Pooja? Yeah.
गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि
have 4 minutes for the presentation and 6 minutes for the discussion. I guess enough time. So ask your questions, don't feel shy, and try to get best out of it. Thank you very much. Over to you, chairpersons.
No, but if we do a open surgery, the clamp and all that.
For the aneurysm, sir. Let it become an aneurysm. Sit on it for some time. आएगा sir ये वापस. अभी तो only that electrical entry. I doubt if it's going to solve your problem at all. It's going to add to it. अभी रुको.
That is the reason why I actually brought this case up, so that
I would. He will go to an aneurysm, formal aneurysm sometime.
You need to go by size criteria. Once it becomes aneurysmal and it is big enough, then there is a justification for doing something.
Then hit it.
If it is not aneurysmal, if it is a 3 centimeter aorta, it doesn't matter. He's got a tear. Wait and watch. He might run for many years like that. It's only if it is aneurysmal that you're looking at, that his risk of rupture and all that is so much more. So that's why the actual size of the entire aorta is what will determine what your plan of management would be. That's what I would look at.
Thank you.
Okay. Who? Dr. Abhilash V. Come on, please.
Lost. Sir, había mi puto Morelon, familia. डॉक्टर बच्चे दिन नहीं बोलेगी बराबर जीतू भाई
We move on to the last session of the day. Very interesting, very commonly performed procedures, and we have good number of cases to, learn something out of those cases. You will see some daredevil surgeons and wonderful outcomes. To begin this session, I would like to invite our chairpersons, Dr. Vishnu. Is Dr. Vishnu around? Dr. Vishnu is here, okay. Dr. Prakash is not there. Dr. Tapis, but you are judging, isn't it? Is it okay? Fine. Dr. Tapis, please. Dr. Tapis and Dr. Vishnu.
Can land up in the trouble there. These kind of, and the wires, of course, the wire should be always there before the balloon.
So if not from right edge, what are the
what other
So
approach?
this is a good approach actually. Your technician suggested or you thought of this?
So we both discussed and built it.
So you.
So
you
first I go with right.
so
I
your,
said
your team is yourself and your technician.
yes.
So that's good.
Always.
That's a good thing. So we move on to the next one, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shriman. Thank you.
Everyone. Nice. ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किं च जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीथा मा गृध कस्य स्वेद्धनं मत्तः परतरं नान्यत् किञ्चिद् अस्ति धनञ्जय मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. Jai Shri Swaminarayan, Jai Shri Krishna and Jai Shri Ram to everyone. Anticipating that all of you are doing gorgeous today, right? Okay. Preeminently, I would relish to express my unequivocal, unambiguous and bona fide gratitude to Dr. Vijaybai Thakur for exhibiting such congenial sentiments towards me. I'm well acquainted with Vijaybai for almost a decade now, and I can vouch for him that he is not only a very experienced, very veteran vascular and an endovascular surgeon, but he is very commiserative and sentimental as well. He is a man brimming with simplicity and humility. After a few days, Vijaybai called me and he humbly requested me if I could address the conference of vascular surgeons. Although my program was fixed and invariable in the impending days in Lucknow, his congenial sentiments brought me here in the midst of all the highly educated vascular surgeons. I'm delighted to hearken that Vijaybai has been orchestrating this magnanimous event since past 10 years. It is a very commendable, applaudable, and a very meritorious endeavor. May Lord perpetually grant him success, and may Lord perpetually grant him the strength, vitality, grit, and fortitude to continue this magnanimous endeavor. Before embarking on today's topic, I would like to briefly, concisely, yet compendiously delineate the dilemma of the 21st century. This is the epic of lavish houses but shattered homes. This is the epic of double incomes but triple divorces. This is the epic of towering high-rise buildings but diminutive low-rise characters. This is the epic of commodious broader highways but constricted viewpoints. This is the epic. Man has prowled all the way to the moon but finds it difficult to spend quality time with his family members. Man has broken the atom and produced tremendous energy but finds it difficult to break a prejudice. Man has learned how to swim like a fish in the water. Man has learned how to fly like a bird in the sky. But unfortunately, man has not learned how to walk like a sane human being upon this earth. No problem. Science has made blistering strides in the field of medical science, from open surgeries to laparoscopic surgeries to robotic surgeries. The lifespan of people has substantially augmented in the past few years by the outlandish exaltations of medical science. But unfortunately and distressingly, man has lost humanity. In the midst of all this chaos, in the midst of all this perplexity and bewilderment, there are three types of IQs that could substantially help us tackle all these impediments. And those are IQ, EQ meaning emotional intelligence, and SQ meaning spiritual intelligence. I'm well acquainted that all of you might be acquainted with these three terms. Even out of these three IQs, spiritual intelligence is the only intelligence that could efficaciously tackle all these impediments. Hence, today I would like to cherish my thoughts on spiritual intelligence. But before embarking on spiritual intelligence, I would like to succinctly and concisely delineate what IQ and EQ is. Although this is a 3 to 4 hour elaborate topic, I would like to syncopate in half an hour. Looking at IQ meaning emotional intelligence. See, IQ is not merely getting good grade in the exams or congregating good information, but IQ is how well someone can transmute whatever information they have into knowledge, and how well can they transmute that knowledge into wisdom is defined as IQ. Research indicates that there is a 99% similarity and resemblance between humans and chimpanzees, right? But there is 1% difference between humans and chimpanzees, and that difference lies in that humans can acquire wisdom. Now let me make it explicit. The 1% difference is not well how humans can congregate information, but how well humans can acquire wisdom. Unfortunately and distressingly, in this contemporary world, we are good at congregating information, but we fizzle in transforming and transmuting that information into knowledge and wisdom. And if someone has efficaciously transformed that information into knowledge and wisdom, that is defined as IQ. And he thinks rationally, he acts purposefully, and he deals with the situations very efficaciously. There are tons of examples on IQ, but I would just like to delineate one simple example on this. I'm sure most of you might be acquainted with the name Dr. Ben Carson, right? He's one of the prestigious, preeminent pediatric neurosurgeon in United States, although he's retired right now. During 2016, he ran against Donald Trump against the presidential election. This is a story about 35 years old, for 35 years in the year 1987, when twins were born with their heads together. The mother of the twins was highly distressed, perplexed, and confused. She consulted numerous myriad neurosurgeons during that time if someone could assist her twins separate, the head separate. But unfortunately, none of the neurosurgeons were ready to take the case in their hands, because there was only 1% success rate in the case. There was 99% failure rates. But fortunately, Dr. Ben Carson ascertained about the case, and the lady very exuberantly consulted this doctor. Now, Dr. Ben Carson, he was merely 35 years old during that time, and it was the year 1987 when medical science was not even fully advanced. But I'm trying to tell you how he utilized his information, knowledge, and wisdom to solve this case. Since he was a neurosurgeon, he already had information about the case. But his knowledge propelled him to think not to worry about the credit and discredit that he would get if he succeeds or if he fails in the case. And his wisdom propelled him to think about the benedictions that he would get if he succeeds in the case. His wisdom inspired him to think about the blessings that he would get from the mother and the twins. So combining his information, knowledge, and wisdom, he initiated the surgery, and the surgery lasted for approximately 22 hours. And he successfully and very triumphantly completed the surgery. Even after completing the surgery, he did not take the credit of the case, but he distributed all the credit to all of his 70 team members. And not only that, he credited God for the entire surgery. This is what wisdom can for you. If you have wisdom, it gives you the knowledge to utilize your information for the welfare of others. If this doctor merely possessed information, he would not have taken the constructive risk to operate on the patient. I'm not telling you guys that you should always take the risk to do these types of complicated surgeries, but you should always take constructive risks. And since he had information, knowledge, and wisdom, he utilized that for the welfare of others, and that is defined as IQ. Moving on to the second point, emotional intelligence, EQ. See, EQ is higher than IQ. EQ is about comprehending the situations, the feelings, the sentiments of others. EQ is about living for others. EQ is about being altruistic. I would just like to share one small research on medical science done on this. There was a research done on 10,000 patients, and they were asked, what type of doctors do you prefer the most? Every one of you sitting in here are doctors, so you might be contemplating well-skilled doctors, well-educated doctors, well-experienced doctors, doctors who work at big corporate hospitals. But you'll be flabbergasted to hearken that 86% of the patients in this study from different countries, different religions, different age groups said that they prefer doctors who give them enough time, who are ready to listen to the problems of the patients, who are very amicable, who are very collaborative, who are very congenial in nature, who are interested in the holistic, comprehensive well-being of the patients. I'm not saying they did not look for the skills and then for the education, but that was secondary. This is what the patients look for in the doctors. And I beg your pardon to disclose this. I beseech your refuge. Research also indicates that 48% of the doctors are not interested in the holistic well-being of the patients. Once again, I beseech your refuge to say this, but this is what the real statistics is. And the reason behind that was they were devoid of enough emotional intelligence. If they possessed enough EQ, they are interested in the holistic well-being of the patient. Good doctor treats the disease, but best doctors treat the patient who has the disease. So this is just one part of EQ looking at medical science. Looking at the other side of EQ, emotional intelligence, up until 90s, it was believed that people who have high IQ, they were successful in their lives. They were supposed to be good leaders. But after 90s, research came out that people who did not possess good IQ, they were still successful in their lives. They were still good leaders. So they started researching what must be the reason behind it. If you look at California's silicosis of the big corporate companies are not even college graduates, right? Still they have tons of IT professionals working under them. What is the reason? Research indicates that those people are extremely high in emotional intelligence. This is what emotional intelligence does. If your EQ is good, you can hire IQ. Let me repeat it. If your emotional intelligence is higher, you can hire IQ. That's how much the power EQ has. Just delineating another example of it. In United States, there was one of the subordinate employees working in a big corporate company. He was working with great integrity since past 23 years. But unfortunately, one of the day, due to his frivolous, inconsequential mistake, the company had to go through $2 million worth of loss. So this gentleman was extremely distressed and perplexed. He thought that the boss of the company might fire him. And raising his apprehension levels high, the owner of the company evoked him in his office and told him to sit in front of him. So this guy thought that he might definitely fire him. The owner of the company, rather than firing him, rather than scolding him, rather than belittling him, or rather than telling him about his mistake, the owner of the company told him that I have been meticulously observing since past 23 years, you have been working with great integrity and with great honesty for the company. I highly extol you and I highly praise you. Rather than firing that gentleman, rather than scolding him, rather than belittling him, the owner of the company highly extolled him for his 23 years of integrity, although the company had to face $2 million worth of loss. You can imagine and envision what must be the sentiments going on in that employee's mind. And you'll be flabbergasted to hearken. Just within 2 years, the employee compensated for the $2 million loss. And not only that, with his information, knowledge, and wisdom, he made tons and millions dollars of worth of profit to the company. This is what EQ does. If the owner of the company might have fired this gentleman, he might have lost $2 million, he might have lost this gentleman, and he might have also lost the profit that this gentleman made. This is what EQ does. If you have EQ, you look at the situations, the emotions, and the sentiments of others. So always, most of you sitting in here are highly high in IQ. But if you incorporate EQ into your life, you will definitely embrace success in your life. Deal with human beings like humans, not like machines. That is what EQ is. Moving on to the third part, SQ. This is the utmost intelligence, spiritual intelligence. See, if you look at big corporate levels, if you look at the best management gurus in this world, from Jim Collins to Anthony Robbins, Robin Smith, Stephen Covey, all of them have delineated the significance of spiritual intelligence, right? You might have many skills. You know, your skills may take you to a certain level. Your integrity may take you to a certain level. Your experiences may take you to a certain level. Your relationships with people may take you to a certain level. But beyond all this, your connection with God will take you an extraordinary level of pinnacle. It will take you an extraordinary level of success if your spiritual intelligence is high. There are many aspects of spiritual intelligence, but taking time into consideration, I would just like to delineate 4 main aspects of spiritual intelligence. Number 1, keeping your ego down, keeping your I down. This is the first aspect of spiritual intelligence if you would like to be successful in your life. You know, research indicates that every third person sitting next to you is more smarter, more knowledgeable, more experienced, and more skilled than you. What ego should we keep? This is what research indicates. This is not what I'm saying. Research indicates that. You know, if you were to look at the map of the universe, even big countries would represent just a single dot in that, right? What about the states that we live in? Would our state represent even a single dot in the map of the universe? Nah. Even big countries represent just a single dot in the map of the universe. What about the cities that we live in? What about the suburbs that we live in? What about the villages that we live in? What about the house that we live in? And what about us? Does the map of the universe have even a single reason to locate us in that map? That's how much trivial, inconsequential, and frivolous we are. What ego should we maintain, right? You know, if you were to put your hand in a bucket filled with water, and then if you were to remove your hand, would the water filled in the bucket, would the water ever think, oh, this gentleman has removed his hand off, so I should leave some empty space in the water, in the bucket? Would the bucket ever leave that empty space? Definitely not, right? Similarly, when we would depart from this world, the world has no reason to leave empty space for us. The world would work as smoothly, as transiently, as spontaneously, and as instinctively as it is working right now. You know, it is our biggest illusion that we think that in our absence, the institution would not work, you know, these works would be left incomplete, this task would be left fragmental. Nothing would be left fragmental. Everything would work as spontaneously and as instinctively it is working right now, right? You have the right, you have the reason to keep your ego if you think you are perishable, if you think you are imperishable. No one sitting in here is imperishable, right? Just imagine 100 years from now, would anyone of us sitting in this, would anyone of us would be sitting in this hall? Absolutely not. 100 years from now, was anyone of us sitting in this hall? Absolutely not, right? That's how much temperamental and whimsical our life is, right? All of you sitting in here are doctors. People rely on you guys for their health. Can you guarantee for yourself that nothing would happen to you just few seconds from now? Absolutely not, right? Imagine the best heart surgeon in this entire world. Can he vouch for himself that he would not die of a heart attack just few seconds from now? Absolutely not, right? That's how much temperamental and whimsical our life is. What ego should we keep, right? Every day, 150,000 people are dying. Every 2 seconds, 3 people are dying. And every day, 4,000 people do not open their eyes when they wake up in the morning. That's how much whimsical and temperamental our life is. So the first aspect of spiritual intelligence is keeping our ego down. Moving on to the second aspect is integrity. If you live your life based on the principles of integrity and honesty, money, fame, and people will chase you. Let me repeat it. If you live your life based on the principles of integrity, money, fame, and people will chase you. You won't have to chase these 3 things. That is the power of integrity. You know, many authors have delineated the significance of this. Even our scriptures have delineated the significance of it. I don't know, some of you might have read the book, How the Mighty Fall. Has anyone in here read that book, How the Mighty Fall? It is authored by Jim Collins. And in this book, he delineates how people who have reached at the pinnacle of the success and how they have fallen. In this book, he has delineated the top corporate levels, people in the top 500 levels, and how they have reached at the acme of their success and how they have fallen. In this book, he delineates, these are his exact words: I have seen people on this earth who would put their feet on earth and the earth would tremble. That's how much powerful people he has seen. I have seen people on this earth whose single phone call can shatter the economy of many countries. And then he writes, I have seen people on this earth whose single eyesight can plunder the government of many countries. I have seen people on this earth whose single sneeze can bring Wall Street a fever. That's how much powerful people I have seen on this earth. That's what Jim Collins writes. And then he writes, but out of those, many people are completely bankrupt. Many people are destitute. Many people are behind the bars. Many people are completely oblivious. What is the reason behind it? After doing all this research, he writes the reason behind it. He just puts it in one line: undisciplined pursuit for more. Putting all the ethics, putting all the morals, putting all the integrity and honesty on the side, and having the desire to earn more unethically. See, having the desire to earn more is not a wrong thing, but having the desire to earn more unethically, that is absolutely wrong. That's what he delineates in this book. I have seen so many powerful people on this earth, but they have fallen because they have been downtrodden now. There is only one reason behind it: undisciplined pursuit for more. See, if you want to be trusted, you need to be honest. There is no legacy as honesty. Honesty has the power that not all people can handle. That's how much power integrity has. If you want to be trusted, you cannot say that why are people not trusting me? Why are these patients not trusting me? If you are honest, if someone does not want to trust you, they'll be obliged and they'll be compelled to trust you if you have honesty in life. So the second aspect of spiritual intelligence is integrity. The first aspect was keeping your ego down. And the third aspect is character. Not all speakers delineate on this, but I think this is a very important and significant aspect. You know, I know most of you might be acquainted with this example. When Swami Vivekananda went to one of the foreign countries, one of the gentlemen asked him, Swamiji, don't you have good tailors in India who can stitch good clothes for you? Because Swami Vivekananda used to wear clothes like us. These clothes are non-stitched. These clothes do not have any pockets. Whether we are going to urban areas or rural areas, international traveling or national traveling, we have just two pairs of clothes. So Swami Vivekananda used to wear clothes like this. So one of the foreigners asked him, Swamiji, don't you have good tailors in India who can stitch good clothes for you? And then Swamiji was very flabbergasted. So Swamiji asked him, what do good stitched clothes do for you? And that gentleman very roaringly told, Swamiji, it makes your personality. And then Swami Vivekananda replied, maybe in your country, a tailor makes a man, but in my country, character makes a man. That's how much powerful character is, right? That is why someone very efficaciously said it. When wealth is